There's quite a few things that have been happening since the last couple of videos. Here's one of the obvious right here. I had to switch out that radiator. You can definitely tell where it was leaking at. Um, yeah, it was a fun afternoon. Took the truck out, driving down the road, and just kind of looking at my gauges. Noticed that it was well over 200. I immediately pulled over and looked down, and sure enough, she was leaking. Limped her back, put in a new radiator. And that was a good. I want to say it was like $100 something bucks. I needed it. It was a really easy swap. It was so easy I didn't even get the video out because it didn't take me long at all. Basically, I just had to take off these screws right here, these brace screws, these bracket screws right there. Pulled each one of those bolts off. There's a set on each side. Pulled those off. Of course, I drained it first. Come down here, took off that big tube, that big one right there, that big hose right there. Pulled it off with a drip pan underneath. Drained it. All the coolant came out. It would look like yoo-hoo, like that chocolate milk drink. It was horrible. We drained it all out. I drained it all out. Just undid all these connections. No big deal. You know, all these little clamps, all these metal clamps, all these pressure screws, all this stuff. Took off the shroud. That was a big deal right there, because taking off the shroud was more of a hassle than anything. Had to do some bolts from right there, and then actually get underneath the vehicle itself. And there's about 3 bolts underneath, and then this whole fan shroud comes off. But once you get that off, the radiator just slips right out. Put in the new one. Slip it right back in. Easy cheesy, no big deal. So, got the vehicle going in like a couple hours, no big deal. Come home, drive it for about a day, and decide, well, it's so nice outside, I'm going to go on ahead and put in this shifter kit. Well, I was all excited for this shifter kit, because this was going to make this truck get up and go. Some nice hard shifting, maybe chirping on the first to second gear. I did not see this. When I did finally see it, the pan on my oil on my transmission was already down. I already had the solenoid out, and as I was looking at it and noticing the valve cover and the valve pan, the valve body for that, it's just like this, except it did have that little lockup, and I didn't understand what that was. So, of course, like I said, this is all new to me. Alright? I didn't go to any kind of school, no kind of trade for this, nothing. This is just me learning on my own, getting help from people that have done car work before, doing research on YouTube. That's actually where I got this information and got the knowledge of, or got the, the start on this shifter kit. Looks easy, right? Well, if I would have had the right vehicle and the right transmission, this thing would have been awesome. You know, this spring here for racing. Street ride is what they would say. Well, it was this thing is so tricky, so picky, that the lockup kit, which is basically it's basically a valve that you were able to, drop it down, and it's supposed to go to overdrive, so it'll be gas saving and blah blah blah. It's for the 350 TH350C. It's supposed to be made after 1985, I believe. It was like 86 up to maybe 2000. I'm not sure. I don't know. But this thing is so particular. Like, this gasket covered up some actual little pinholes, like this little size pinholes right here. And first off, it was a complete mess to get this transmission fluid all over the place. It smells horrible out here. It just made a mess. So I'm thinking, well, I'm just going to put this back, put it all together, get it back in there. All I have is reverse and third gear. So I dropped the pan again. This is all kind of before I realized what the lockup transmission is. You know, like I said, this is just me learning on my own. So we get it back. I get the tray back, or the pan back down, go through, clean it out, put it back up. Still no luck. This is all in one day. So I give up, wait for another week, come the weekend, and actually a week of vacation. So this is my last day of a week of vacation. Finally figured out what was happening. My neighbor took me to a transmission specialist, and I told him about it all. And he goes, well, just make sure you got the right plate in there. And right when he said that, it just clicked. Because with this kit comes this actual metal plate. And right here, in this area right here, is where that little valve goes for the 350TH, the 350C. And this channel is where the valve cover, or the valve goes. So when he immediately said that, it was like a light that clicked, and I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I forgot to remove the plate. So I took off the old plate that separated the valve body from the lower valve body, the plate, the cover. Put that on. I actually had to order some new gaskets that would fit that one, so I had to wait another week for that. Put that all together, put it on, boom, 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 it worked. Shifted into first, back down, or up to second and third, back down. Oh, it was beautiful. I was so happy. I was proud of myself. Driving it for about 4 days like that. Mind you, I spent about $80 in transmission fluid. Because, even though it was brand new, I take it out and there was still, grit and sand and just crap in it. And there's no way I was going to put it back in. So, got the vehicle running. Got her going. It's just right after Thanksgiving now, so it's icy, cold outside. What is this? The day after Thanksgiving, I believe I took the truck out, and she was running sluggish. I thought maybe it was my wheels spinning on the ice, to tell you the truth, because that's what it was feeling like. I would mash on it, and it would just rev up, and it just felt like I was spinning and going nowhere. So I didn't think about it. Nothing of it. Come back home, driving down the road, and slowly started losing power, meaning forward power. The truck was still running, fuel, amps, and everything. Oh, by the way, I had to put in a new alternator too. This thing's getting way too expensive. Had to pull over to a convenience store and call my neighbor, and he towed me home. Got it home. I couldn't even start it. It's like everything just quit at once. The starter down there, the old starter, my neighbor was sitting here watching me as I turned it over, and he said that thing was just wobbling. So he actually had to tow me back home, pull me with his truck all the way back home, crawled underneath it, took out that old starter, put in this new one. I thought I had it shimmed up. She started up about 10 times in a row, no problems. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to start working on this transmission now. Pulled the pan, and this time I got smart, and I added a nut to a drain nut, so I can just drain the oil, drain the transmission fluid rather than have before I take the pan off, because that's what was making a mess. So we put that in, took the pan down, and it looked like crap in there. I had no idea what the hell what was in there. I mean, it was black, it was thick. It looked like it had been running, 300,000 miles on the same oil, and I was just so disappointed because I had just put some new stuff in there. Doing some more research, and they said you probably should flush it, flush the transmission fluid. So basically, that's where we're at right now. Yesterday, I found some tube, found some plastic tubing, some hose, and just connected. Let's see if I can see it right here. Connected. This is this part right here is coming from the transmission. This is the coolant line. It's supposed to run. It runs up into the radiator, the front of the radiator, the cooler. I put some hose on there yesterday and last night trying to start it. Put it on there because basically they say put the hose on there, run it for a little bit, for about 2 quarts, turn it off, add another 2 quarts. Add another 2 quarts in there. Run it again. Let it drain through the hose. See, I have the hose coming out. Here's the end of it right here. And I was just going to put it in a trash can. Just dump it all out so I can see it. Well, this was before I bought this hose. And I just had some regular hose that I put in there that I had found. And of course it wasn't tight. And it just made a freaking mess all over the place. Freaking transmission fluid all over the place. Transmission fluid on my headers. Transmission fluid on the wheel wells. Transmission fluid down here. I'm just taking a break from this truck for right now. I'm not going to come back and work on it for a little while. It's getting me frustrated. I don't know, but I'm just going to flush this transmission, put some new fluid in, see if that's the issue. I don't want her to beat me down and beat me up and beat me, but she's definitely get some kicks in, and I'm just going to need to take a break from it and just collect myself and not feel so frustrated. So I still have all the parts for that Transgo. It's a 350 stage 3, definitely made for street racing. I paid $80 for it. I still have the instructions. I still have the plate. I still have the gaskets. I still have all the springs. Still have everything I need. Believe it or not, that's basically how it came. Springs that you can for different setups, different, however you want to do it, but it's definitely a learning experience. If it ain't broken, don't go messing with it. Don't go trying to fix it. I'll let you know what happens. I'm just frustrated and taking a break right now. So we'll go from there.